friends, thanks for joining me. It's Morag here with another video for you using the August kits. And these kits are just so stunning. Absolutely fell in love with the colours and the images. Just so pretty. So I'm using a bit of everything and including the stencil from the colour kit. And this week's challenge is a sketch challenge, and that was set by Terry. So if you want to take part in the sketch challenge, you can take part up until the 29th of September. So you've got a little while yet to join in the fun. So the stripes from the challenge, I really saw them as these planks of wood from one of the papers in the main kit. Beautiful weathered wood look. And so I've cut apart the sheet, as you can see there. So rather than just use it as a whole, I wanted to make planks. And then when I thought planks, I thought summery beachy photos. So it was kind of where my mind was going, really. And I really wanted to try and put them on that yellow, beautiful yellow sunburst background. And I then thought, oh, does it need to go on a different colour? So I've tried out a few different things and then ended up with the blue background. What's on the back of there? And that's got little palm trees on the back of that one. Now, I'm just going to need to make an apology as well, because I didn't realise my camera had moved. So I think my stand wasn't tightened up enough. And so you can see a lot of my stand, not a lot of the layout. So unfortunately, I didn't realise until about halfway through. But I don't think you missed much of the action, just looks a bit ugly. So my sincere apologies for that. So I'm taking that blue paper and I'm just going to add some ink through that stencil, as you can see there. Now here's my thoughts, because it's a very thin and beautiful stencil. You might find it easier to keep it in place using some washi tape or something like that. It's okay though, you just need to go careful and slowly, as I've done, just to keep those thin lines in place. But you can see it came out beautiful, so I'm really pleased with that. Because I wanted a larger sunburst so that you could see it behind my photo, you'll see in a second that I'm going to move the stencil as to extend it. So just measuring that up. So I wanted another one down the bottom here, so I've just moved it along, lined it up, and I think that worked very well. And the inside bit is going to be hidden anyway, so the fact that it was kind of straight, it won't make an odds to my end result. So I'm going for this beach, so this is what's going through my head. I'm going through this beachy weathered wood vibe, and I thought, oh, I'm going to add some paint to those planks to give it a bit more of a weathered wood look, as I would in the background as well. So I've tried brayering onto the background and kind of like a dry brush effect really. So there's not really any paint on there, just wanted a little bit of a light touch. Decided actually the paper's weathered enough anyway, and so it really didn't make a difference. So I gave up on that, and then I'm going to try and dry brush onto those planks that I cut out in a blue colour, and actually that looked terrible. I think it's because the blue it's a slightly pinky white plank, and they just didn't go. So I've abandoned that idea, and I'm just going to lay some colour onto the background instead, just to spam it up a bit. And looking at it, I don't think you can see a lot of it as per usual. So I did my usual thing of making a beautiful background and then hiding it all. So I'm using shimmers, which are my favourite things that I get in the colour kit. And they're so easy to use. You just dilute them with a little bit of water. I painted onto some old packaging, and as you can see there, you get a lovely background effect. What was interesting, because I put some paint on the background already, was that they came out different colours. So I expected where the paint was for the shimmers to be much brighter, and when it was just on the paper itself, it would be darker. They actually change colour as well, so I don't know if you'll see that in a minute. I did have to create a couple more planks because I'd ruined mine with some spurious paint. And you can make them a bit thinner as well, so I think the ones that I'd cut out, I'd got perfect length and widths, and then having moved it all, now I can't decide which way and which ones went in which direction. So I think the key for that background though is to make them very weathered. So distress with a distress tool or your scissors, fingernail, and make them different lengths so that no two are the same length at the top or at the bottom, and that gave me the effect that I was after really. So one of my favourite things that I do is to use a light grey fine liner just to edge those stencilled areas. I do this all the time, so if you've watched one of my videos before, you'll have seen me do this no doubt. And my tip for that is to go very, very lightly, so my pen barely touches the paper. So you get a really, really faint fine line, but it's enough just to give it some definition. And I'm just using some diluted paint then to add to the background, forgetting that I'm covering most of it up. So those nice big patches of blue blobs there will be hidden. I never learn my lesson, do I? Now I did have to leave that to dry for quite some time, and I did the same with white paint. So either diluted paint or inks, and that's where I noticed that my camera position was out. So I've now rectified that. And I did add some more blobs on top of those planks in the same way. I like how, and I might have said this about 5 times already, I'm going for that distressed beachy look, so I just think that all those things work together well. So I wanted a bit of texture on the right hand side there towards my sunburst, so I've got a bit of old tulle that, however you say it, tulle, which is that fine netting in my stash, and I've just squished that together. My dog's going about to bark. Squished that together and tucked it in behind my photo. And I do like a little bit of twine, so this is some kind of stringy type thing. I guess it is twine. And it was a bit fiddly, to be fair. I knew where I wanted it to go, and it wasn't having any of it, so I wanted a bit to go across, a bit to loop around under my embellishments, and then a bit to dangle down. So in the end I had to kind of cut it apart and glue it into place. And I am going to use those beautiful tropical leaves and elements from the main kit. I think the tropical leaves might be the embellishment kit, but I do love me a tropical leaf. I just love the leaves in general, to be fair. So, so you just want to tuck those down the right hand side there, and I've added a bit of ink underneath just to give it some depth, because most of my mixed media was hidden, of course. So I've just used a brush and then brushed on some ink underneath. One thing I do tend to do is go around afterwards with the either diluted ink or a shimmers, just to add some shadows. I really like that when you use a dark colour under your elements, and it kind of gives it that shadowy look underneath, and I think that just adds a bit of depth. So I'm tucking in some of the foam stickers. I think those are the embellishment kit. There were just so many beachy, lovely beachy things, so I just couldn't go wrong really, could I? And I really, really love those from the Pocket Life kit, those phrase words, the chipboard phrases. There's some really cool ones in there this month because they're really long, so you can cut those up and position them if you want to. And the other fantastic thing, I'm sorry, I keep I keep fangirling over the embellishments and things, but I love these fabric leaves. I was just really reluctant to use them all because I just need more of them. I'm hoping if I speak nicely to Kimberly, she'll put more in future, because I could have packets of those and never get bored or sick of them. So just taking in bits and pieces. There's loads of, I think there must be almost 80 pieces in the main kit, the ephemera in the main kit. So many pieces, and every single one is different. And there's a real mixture of elements and some journal words and, you know, leaves. It's just perfect with that on its own, to be honest. And I'm just layering up some detail at the top there. There are a chipboard word, it's circle, and that's from the Pocket Life, as is the fabric tab there as well. That's just fab. And I love the font of the phrase stickers. I think I really should write these down, shouldn't I? But my apologies. So I'm really loving how that all turned out. And then I wanted to go a little bit more distressed and beachy. So I am going to distress my edges. And I'm just distressing everything at the moment. So I'm going to curl up those edges there. And because it was quite stiff, I just ran a little line of water along that edge, just to help it along so that I could fold it easily. And I'm going to use a piece of card that I used to back my photo. I've got loads of card, but I thought I'd use the one that I'd used already. And I really like how that edge turned out. It gives it loads more texture. I just made it a bit more interesting, I think. I think that's about it. Oh, a few more spatters. So I am using some white liquid paint to do those. You could just dilute some gesso or white acrylic paint, do the same thing. Do you remember Josephine? She was the expert at that. She was fantastic with her white spatters. Anyway, I love how it turned out, and I hope you like it too. You can see I used the sketch and twisted that around so it was vertical, and lots of flowers and texture and layers. So if you want to join in the sketch this week, or this month I should say, you have up until the 29th of September, and you will get a chance to win $25 to spend in the shop. What's not to like? And you could also spend that on the August kit if you haven't got it already. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care now. Bye.